ATMIG, or After the Money Is Gone. I've got Tobias Lipsky, and I've got Julia Hickling, and thanks for joining us today, you guys.
Thanks for having us, Lori.
Thank you. I'm smiling really big, but you can't tell.
I know what the mask is a little hard to tell, isn't it? But it's great to have you guys on and see you for the first time in quite a while. I know with the pandemic, it's been hard to get out. Obviously, lack of live shows, lack of getting together. But just tell me, what have you guys been up to since the last time I saw you, Julia, in February at Hamtramck Music Fest? And for you, Tobias, it was like in January.
Yeah.
It seems like a world away since March. So what have you guys been doing to try to stay creative and just motivated these days?
Well, we had a couple of shows that, of course, got canceled.
Right.
And fortunately, right around the corner was the NPR Tiny Desk concert.
Yes.
And I had a song that I had the guitar for, and I was sitting on it. I don't know if I'm talking in front of the mic correctly, but I was sitting on it for like 4 or 5 years, and I finally, because of the time that I had not going anywhere and not having practice or having shows, I finally wrote the lyrics and performed the song on video, and then sent the video to the entire band and said, "Go."
Nice.
And then each one of us filmed ourselves doing our respective parts, and we put it together and created this group.
That
this
is a cool video because I
Yeah.
saw it. You guys had shared it with me, and I really like how you guys were able to get all the band members in,
Yeah.
despite everyone being in quarantine. Because I remember that was back in April when you
Yeah.
guys had shared that and submitted it for Tiny Desk.
Yeah, we weren't seeing anybody back then.
I don't think any of us were at that time because
No.
you know we were kind of at the peak then, and I know we're kind of hitting that again now, unfortunately. But
And the guy that did our trip video, he was quarantined as well. So I said, "Look, we've got all this video footage, and I know your usual rate. I can't afford it. Would you help us with the editing and put the text in and stuff? Because we think the words are pretty important." And so he helped us out with that too. And then Jamie's great with mixing.
nice. And this is the beauty of like now with technology is you can still collaborate even though you can't physically be in the same room together. You know.
Right.
And the nice thing about quarantine is I think a lot of people had time to say, hey, I'm going to dust off that song and finish it. Or I'm going to write something new, you know? And, you know, was it nice to finally get that song, like, written and kind of initially recorded? I mean, after several years of just kind of figuring out where to go with it and what to do with it?
It was very nice. And I've done this before where I've had the guitar done, and I liked it so much that I was really worried about screwing up the song with my words and melody. But I waited long enough. You know, there were a few car trips where I would come up with a melody, I'd record it on my phone and save it for later.
Yes.
And then the words come later. So it felt great. Yeah, and the song's called Aha.
Yes.
That we're talking about. And you know, when you're ready, we can perform it for you, and we can talk about what it's about now or later. Maybe I'll know.
Well, why don't we talk a little bit about it? We'll kind of introduce the concept of the track, and then we'll have you guys perform it. But like what I'm hearing it kind of to me sounds like somebody is kind of, it's kind of looking at somebody who's kind of more or less benefiting from like someone else's misfortune or someone else's, you know, struggle. And that's kind of the impression I pick up from the track and how that can happen, especially now because we face a lot of division in this country with things going on. What people are worried, the pandemic, obviously the election and everything. It's just a lot of social unrest, things that have happened. You know, did any of that kind of inspire that track? I realize you wrote it a while ago, but where did that come from?
A lot of it came from listening to lawsuits concerning asbestos and talcum powder, and also opiate addiction.
Yes.
So it's where someone sells you something to make your life better when in fact it makes you a dependent.
Gotcha.
or actually just harms you. So that's a big part of it, the concept and the lyrics. It dabbles in other things as well, a little bit about classism, because I recognize my privilege very much.
Right, I hear
so,
you. Yeah.
you know, I'm amidst whining about consumerism in my song, I still want to recognize that I'm pretty fortunate. So I don't remember the rest of what the song's about, but that's a big part of it. And I liked the idea of having a hook that was just a aha.
Yes.
I don't think I have one of those yet. Probably do, and I just don't remember. But I thought it was impactful, and it is kind of a aha, like epiphany. You know, that's what it's all about. And I'm not trying to give kudos to Billy Joel, but you know, that's what it's all about. Anyway, so yeah, that was the concept. It felt good. I try to write stuff that's important to me and that's current to me, and then a lot of stuff started happening on the news after that.
Yes,
and I was just
right.
like, whoa. I'll just say that the song was written before a lot of the protests and such.
Yes.
Yeah, it's we enjoy singing it. Typically can play it all the way through, but it is a newer song, and it's being mastered right now.
Nice.
And
Nice.
hopefully we will release it before the end of the year.
Okay, yeah, I was going to ask you, like, when. I've heard kind of the rough take, but yeah, when is the official one coming out?
Yeah,
Very cool.
and on the drive here, we came up with the concept for a video. Videos are very expensive, so I don't know if it'll actually happen. But the idea, and hopefully we get it done before someone steals the idea, but it's a fake pharmaceutical commercial.
Nice.
So you know how Foo Fighters did like the Mentos commercial?
Yes. Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, so this would be like, you know, I said, you know, the white suburban woman who's got everything she should have, but something's just not right, you know. That's just the vision that I have, and I don't know if we'll list, 200 side effects at the end. Actually,
You might want to, actually. Yes, as long as you say it's going to cause you to die.
The best part.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Lori, for helping us brainstorm this.
I'm laughing because in grad school I did like my own like fake drug commercial for a marketing class I was in.
Fun.
Oh, can we use that?
I don't even know if I can find it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was looking for public domain footage.
I don't think it's on YouTube. I think I only have it like on a C. It was before YouTube came out. It's a long time ago, but yeah.
I'll
yeah.
need the publishing rights.
But yeah, I'd love to see your interpretation of yours because we did ours where we were outside and walking and
Oh my gosh, we have to see it.
totally like the
Yeah.
stereotypical like drug commercial you see on if you watch the evening news or anything,
Yeah.
I think it's a done deal.
That's great. But hey, why don't we go ahead and have you guys play Aha because I think it'd be fun for a lot of people to get a chance to hear some of your newer material that you're working on. So
All
this
right.
is Aha.
Here goes. On any given day, they'll tell you need something that will only take away. Every day at your front door is a smiling face hiding a predator. What makes them feel alive is what makes you bleed. Beautiful dependency. Never want you to die. They'll save your beating heart to go right back to the start. Let's engineer a mother, keep water from our brothers. Point the finger when it hits the fan. Let's make them suffer, blame one another. Sell them the poison, hide the cure. Ah, 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 ah. Your generosity is just a bill of goods, clear cutting all that's good. And as you step on me, I'm need you to edit in the right chord there.
That is such a beautiful track because I love your harmonies.
Thank you.
I've said this before, I think on the last episode, that I'm a sucker for harmonies. As long as I've listened to music for as long as I can remember, those always stuck out to me, and I love hearing people's voices blend together. And I can tell you two have the voices that go together.
Yeah.
Absolutely, like a perfect fit. You know.
We do get a lot of compliments on the harmony, and that's all this lady.
Well, I have to have something to harmonize too, so you know.
Well, you guys do a great job because I've seen you live do it, and then I've obviously heard it on your last full-length album, Wishes, which I think is a beautiful album.
Thank you.
What I like about the album is that I called it, like when I interviewed you guys for the actual blog, that it was kind of like the gold standard, you know, of like multi-genre music, which is what I feel like is, because you've got folk, you've got ambient, you've got some shoegaze in there, you've got some, you know, indie rock, maybe even some dream pop elements to some extent. And since I listen to all kinds of music and interview all kinds of artists across genres, it's always exciting to me to see people blend them together into kind of their own signature sound.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about what you guys did with Wishes. So, you know, tell me about kind of like what it was like kind of blending that sound for Wishes as your debut project. You know, like as you think back, I know it's been out a while, and you think back and you listen to it now, you know, was that something you guys initially kind of intentionally wanted to create as a sound, or is that just kind of what came together based on your influences and kind of what comes out when you write and record?
If I recall correctly, it was taking the songs that were most ready, and the arrangement on the album was very intentional. It was very much, you know, obviously most releases are just singles right now and they're for streaming, but it was still for the album experience.
Nice.
So as you listen to the first track, we talked about this in our original interview, and thank you for the article.
You're welcome.
You know, I imagine someone laying down on their couch with their beverage of choice and putting on side A and experiencing that side and it ending at a natural point.
Yes.
And then you go on to side 2, and then the very end of the album brings it all together.
Yes, it
the
does.
Beginning. So that was intentional. The different genres and influences, it's just a product of, you know, what has influenced us.
Right.
I never hung on to one particular genre, but there's always got to be, almost always, some element of edginess. So that should carry on throughout, even in the prettier songs on the album.
Yes, yes.
But it all started with Trip. We had worked with Soundscape Studios to record that track.
Nice.
And it turned out so well that we just had to do something with it.
Love that song.
And so we had that recording, and what was also happening was Third Man Records was opening.
Yes.
And so why not see if we could have that song pressed on vinyl and at Third Man? And so we waited in line for 3.5, 4 hours at Third Man's opening day.
I remember I was there. Not with you, but I was there in spirit.
It was not warm.
It was such a cold day.
It was like a Black Friday, wasn't it? It was like rainy and lousy out, I think I remember.
It was snowing at one point. It snowed a little bit.
And we made it to the counter, and we bought the merchandise we wanted. And I said, hey, are you open to third parties? And they said no. And so we had kind of resolved that was wasn't going to happen. And we were researching some of the other pressing places in the area. And then Julia was kind of like, are you sure you tried hard enough? So then I did some research, and I emailed a gentleman in Nashville. And I said, look, this is what we want. This is how many copies. This is what we're prepared to pay. Because I had done the research as to what criteria the other companies are looking for. And then, I don't know if it was an email or a phone call, but we got contacted by the local office, and they said, all right, we don't even have an order form, but let's do this. So we got to be the first artist who wasn't on the label to have their record pressed there, and it was our single. The
Which is cool.
A side was Trip, the B side was Pale. Some people would argue it should be reversed. But Yeah, another thing that happened while we were waiting in line for Third Man was that I had volunteered you for an interview with
Yeah, he does that.
We were just about to get into the store, and I just overheard this gentleman saying, "Does anyone, want to talk about Third Man Records?" And
He goes, she does.
yeah.
You're like, thanks.
Yeah, because my teeth are chattering at that point. And
Yeah.
can't feel my hands.
So I think his last name was McCollum, and he was from the news.
The
Free Press.
Free Press.
Ryan McCollum from the Free Press.
Yeah, and he was filling in for someone else because he doesn't principally do music, I don't think. And so you got interviewed, and it got printed.
Yep. And I actually mentioned the band, and that made it into the article, and had it framed. He had it framed for me, hanging in my house.
So, we took Trip, and we released it on a 7-inch, and we also did the music video that we talked about earlier, and that was a lot of fun.
That's a great video. I love the girl that's kind of like building. She's kind of like relying on her imagination to basically build a ship to get out of the house.
Yeah.
Which I think it's a cool it fits great with the track.
Yeah.
And other things about the album, we collaborated with some other local artists. We brought them in.
Nice.
We brought in the singer of Eleonora, and the guitarist Dan is now part of our band.
Very
And that wasn't calculating or anything. They stopped playing.
We
Gotcha.
didn't steal him.
One of the great memories from the recording experience was having the kids come in to sing
Yes.
the echo line in the
Yeah,
song.
which that's a great part too. I love that part. All the
And
kids and their harmonies.
It was a lot of fun. It was amazing as they listened. It was amazing.
They had to have
Well,
loved
you-
that.
You did so good at wrangling them.
I brought cookies.
You brought cookies.
They had to have loved that though. Like to be part of that and to hear and to know that like you're always on a recording like that. That is so cool as a kid to have that kind of experience.
Yeah, and a lot of them had a musical background. One of them's father was in a long-standing metal thrash
Nice.
band. And then one of the girls that you brought was a quasi-professional singer.
Just a vocal student.
Vocal
student.
Of a vocal teacher, I know. Yeah.
And then, having a string section and a horn section, and that's all, it's a great experience.
Yeah. A lot of work, but we would do it again.
We are, when this airs, we'll have a promotion on the website. The album's going to be available for $15, and 100% of proceeds go to the ACLU.
Wonderful. Oh, very cool. Yeah, no, we'll definitely mention that as part of our promotion as well. That's very cool.
So if you'd like, we could play a couple of tracks.
Yeah, why don't we start with Trip,
Okay.
and we'll kind of hear that one.
I'm sitting in your back pocket. I'm flying like a rocket in the sun tonight. I am seeing all the good things, but believing all the wrong things all at once. All right. Let's go tonight. Let's make believe we do not care and do not cry. Let's show our parents that we don't recall their lives and take a trip down someone else's fucking life. So we can see what happens when you do not have to hide. Who you are.
And I love how that song was one of the first ones ever like pressed at third band pressing.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Because I'm proud to say that I'm an owner of that 7-inch at home.
Oh, right on. Well, I'll tell you what, hearing them play it over their radio, over their speakers.
I want to. I wish I could have heard that. Well, hopefully.
That was an experience.
That has got to be cool. Well, and what I like about that song and a lot of wishes as I hear all the different tracks is kind of like a theme of, it's not too late to kind of change and go after what you want, kind of like reevaluating your life and thinking about where you want to go with things. Find that sense of purpose maybe that you're searching for at any age,
right,
at any point in your life. And I think when we talked before about this, that was kind of some of the inspiration behind it. But can you kind of share not just Trip, but a lot of the tracks throughout Wishes, kind of like where that inspiration came from? And is that something personally you were going through? Is that more just kind of a concept for the album thematically?
Yeah, so with my vocals, and I even rewrote some earlier vocals so they'd be consistent with this, I try to have a positive outlook on everything.
Yes.
But give credit to the challenges.
Yes.
Not gloss over them.
Right.
And so just focusing on Trip, and it's not the first time I've said it, but that's how it goes. How nice it would be to be able to be yourself.
Yes.
Because obviously social norms, yada, yada, yada. And so, based on your own personal experiences or experiences you share with only a small group of people, you might feel marginalized.
Right.
And so the idea was, let's take a trip. And I don't remember how I dropped the F-bomb, basically, let's just live someone else's fucking life for a minute.
Yes.
And pretend we're not in our own skin.
Right.
So, it's doing a couple of things. It's admitting how uncomfortable some people can feel about themselves.
Right.
I would hope everyone. So I could feel, anyway. And then let's forget about it.
Right.
For a minute.
Yes.
And then the rest of the album is writing about some element of growth. In certain instances, the lyrics are writing about the song that's being written that moment. And then a song like Dictaphone, which I'll disclose the original title was GWH, and that stood for Good Will Hunting, because I was fiddling around on guitar when I was supposed to be studying, and I was using my dictaphone, which I would use to record lectures I was skipping. Yep. And I came up with this riff, and it wasn't what ended up in dictaphone because it was in 7/8 and dictaphone is not. But I came up with it, and I had that reaction to something I wrote that I hadn't had yet. And it was a reaction I would only have listening to Elliott Smith.
Right.
With some exceptions, Nick Drake.
Yes.
More than just those two. I'm just, this is live.
But yeah, I hear it.
And so I freaked out. I recorded it on the dictaphone. And then a year or two later, someone I was playing music with had a brother who worked for Radical Media.
Yes.
And they were producing Nike Battlegrounds. This is like 2005.
Okay, yeah.
And LeBron was hosting.
Yes.
And Friday Night Lights was big.
Yes.
And so they were looking for very artsy music
Nice.
and whatnot. And they heard something that I had written that was on my friend's drive that he shared with his brother who worked for Radical Media, and it was totally by accident.
That's quite a connection.
Yeah.
To get through all those people.
Yeah. So they said we need
have
more.
a lot of accidents like that.
Yeah, lots of accidents.
Well,
like
that's why, as Bob Ross says, life is, happy accidents,
Happy
right?
little accidents.
Yes.
So they said they wanted more. So I immediately faked sick the next day at work, and I spent the whole day writing. And what I did was I took that first piece on dictaphone, I added another note to it, combined it with something else that I had written and didn't know they would go together. So I think the lyrics actually say part 1 joint part 2.
Yes.
And at the point, it was the most amazing thing I felt I had written. So there's words to that effect. And I was about to play a show with a band called Small Sails, who were awesome. They're not around anymore, but they were from like Portland, Seattle,
Yeah,
that area,
nice.
and they were playing at the Detroit Film Center.
Okay, yeah.
How I got that show is a whole other story. But so the lyrics are about the song and the experience to getting to the song, and I changed it to dictaphone just to make it less of a mystery to people who don't know the story I just told. And for those who want a bit of history, because in one interview they said, "Now a dictaphone, that is."
What is what is a dictaphone? Well, yeah. I grew up in the era where I recorded all that kind of stuff, so I know what you mean.
And when you say cassette, do you mean,
I grew up with cassettes. I still have cassettes in my basement.
Yeah. Oh, they're cool. I think I have my Less Than Zero cassette still.
Nice. Yeah, that was a good soundtrack, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and Dictaphone is probably my favorite track from the entire album. I said that the guitar riff of like the alternating guitar is like beautiful. Like I know, just that to me that just takes me and like makes me want to. It just takes me somewhere else is what I'm trying to say. You talked earlier about the trip. Well, that guitar riff transports me somewhere else when I'm having a bad day, and it's kind of got that dreamy feel to it, which is what I love about it. So.
Would you like to hear it?
I would love to hear Dictaphone.
Okay. I brought it with
I think we have to play it now.
Absolutely.
Let's see if this works. Nothing wrong. You will find the song's just waiting. This would go along, sitting round just for the taking. I lay down It's a shame that you can't get all the strings people on the camera.
I wish we had a bigger. One day we'll have our bigger space next door set up.
But they're here.
Where we can have the full band and everything. It'd be great to hear that version too. So
yeah, we'd love that.
Yeah.
Sorry. One last thing about the album is that when we had it released,
yes,
we had the good fortune of playing that at Otis Supply.
Nice.
In Ferndale. And notwithstanding the blizzard
Yeah.
There's always a blizzard when it's a big night.
Yeah.
We still had a good turnout. We did the entire album front to back. And that was our first gig with Dan, actually,
Okay.
Yeah.
because we needed a second guitar for. I can't play Wishes. I can't play the song Wishes and sing. I just can't.
Some you can't do, you know. Some you
can't.
gotta have extra, an extra collaborator hand to help out with those kind of songs.
Yeah, and a quick shout out to the rest of the band.
Absolutely.
Dan Clark, been a great addition to the band on guitar. We now have Jamie, is it Gowicki on drums?
Yeah.
Close
You're supposed to
enough.
help me with names, including my own.
I thought you knew.
And then our most recent addition is Drew, whose last name I don't have,
Borowski.
Borowski,
Okay.
and he's a longtime fan.
Fair.
Yeah.
Now that's cool when you get a fan in the band.
Yeah.
That's-
And he did like 2 cameos with every time we cover Arcade Fire, he comes on stage.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but Julia found out he played bass, and then later I found out he was really good.
Nice.
And he's got a beautiful voice too, so we'll see where that takes us. And then I think it's just us two after that
Yeah.
in the band.
Just us.
So let me ask you, since we're talking about the band with the origins, I know originally, like, Tobias, it started with you as kind of like a solo project, right? In 2006, around that time frame?
Yeah, like that Detroit Film Center show where, I mean, I wrote 10 songs in a week to play the show.
Oh,
I
wow.
got the gig before. I have a pattern.
He does
I hear you.
this.
You got the gig and then you wrote the songs,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
And then
Got to start somewhere.
just like when I
He's
met,
good under pressure.
That's right. I know the feeling, so am I.
when I met Julia, it was because I'd already booked 2 shows. I'm like, all right, now I need a band.
Nice.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So
You're lucky it worked out.
it was a solo just because I couldn't. Nobody liked me. So
I
eventually,
find that hard to believe.
well, thank you.
Very
I'll be back
difficult.
to hear more of that. Yeah, so it was. I mean, it was my music, but we finally. That's another benefit of being stuck at home is that Julie and I recently collaborated on multiple songs.
Awesome.
We're not ready to perform them today,
Gotcha.
but there's a new song called Quiet, and it's epic. It's just
I'm looking forward to hearing that down the road when you guys are ready to share that.
it's
So, yeah.
fantastic. And the singing is beautiful. The guitar is simple but big, and then Dan gets to shred on it.
Nice.
It's your song. You better talk about
I
it.
know.
Okay. She wrote all the words, and so
And I sing the lead on that.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah.
Now, I've
People
definitely.
have been asking.
the harmony's not as good though.
But still, I'm excited to hear a song
that
kind of.
features me.
Yes,
yeah.
yes, that is
Yeah.
awesome.
A lot
Gosh.
of people are asking for that.
Well, glad to know it's coming.
It's coming.
Yeah.
That and more. So keep an eye out on
Nice.
us. Yeah.
Yeah, there's been a lot of writing in quarantine.
Yeah, that's one of the benefits of this. And kind of on a larger scale, I'm really excited to see music and art months and years from now.
Oh my
that come
gosh!
from
To think what
this.
people have created and not
Yes.
released, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
It's been amazing for what people have released so far out of
Yeah.
it. But yes, when you look, from now 5 years down the road, what people are going to come out with will be incredible.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's the
unreal.
one benefit of being like home. What else can you do? Might as well write. Might as well record.
Might as well. And winter's coming up, so
Oh my gosh! Yeah. Yes. And
we'll all be sitting at home writing songs.
something else. Yes, I spent a lot of time writing my own blog posts that time. I took advantage of the time to get some more writing myself.
That's
So
wonderful.
it was a good time to do your craft. You know.
Yeah.
We tried some covers too. That
Yeah.
we tried an Elliott Smith cover that didn't work out.
How dare you?
It was because of me. 'Cause it's really
It wasn't. It was because of me.
It was not. But I'm wearing a shirt of one of the other bands.
Which I like, Majesty Crust, which is obviously a big, history of Detroit in terms of dream pop shoegaze from 90 to 95-ish roughly the time frame. So yeah, and I could see why they must have been an influence on you, and I could totally hear that in the music. When did you first come across Majesty Crush, and what impact did they have on you when you started hearing them?
So I think the first time I heard Boyfriend in the car on 89X, and then it was just an amazing song, especially the vocals and the guitar on that song killed me. The singer, Dave Straughter,
Yes.
and guitarist Michael Siegel, and then the bassist is Hobie Eklund, and then the drummer is Odell Nails. And the guitar that Michael came up with on Boyfriend just kills me.
Their guitars are beautiful, seriously, on their tracks.
And then Dave's singing was just remarkable.
Yes.
And then I was visiting friends at East Lansing and went into a store that had flyers showing Majesty Crush Tonight in someone's basement.
Oh, my God.
So I went to this basement party, and Dave is right here the whole show.
Oh, man.
With a beer and a cigarette in hand the whole time, and holding the mic with both hands. So I don't know. and it's just one of the most amazing shows I'd ever seen. And they're beautiful songs. I Only Have Love 15 and Sans Muscles. Beautiful songs on Love 15. Famed Sleep is another one of my it's such a beautiful song. But like 3 of my favorite songs of all times are by them.
Yeah, yeah.
So Boyfriend, and then off Sans Muscles, The Ghost of Fun. It has the greatest beginning of any song for me. And then Space Between Your Moles.
Yes.
And that's the song that we covered this spring just because.
Yes, why not?
Just because.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
And we want to, if we ever get into Detroit by Detroit, we want to do Majesty Crush.
Yes.
And so I just figured out how to play it. It wasn't easy. I had to drop it a full step because I couldn't sing it that high. And a lot of other so we recorded it, and then
He sent it to me, and then I just did my thing on it.
And the recording's great because I had a chance to see it on YouTube where you guys
Yeah.
have it right now. So yeah.
and we didn't get like cell phone stands or lighting till later, and we haven't used them. So it was all like prop it up on a can or clip it to the ceiling, which is nailed to
Hey,
the...
whatever works.
And then he put it together, put the video together.
Nice.
Yeah. I have this program for video editing, and I used every single background they had for that video. Like, I can't do any
You
more
do have a
video-
lot of backgrounds in it though. Yeah.
Like, I used the entire free selection.
I like the snowflakes one.
Thank you. Thank you. We because someone's lending me their guitar, I can use that and play that song right now. And it's a full step down. But then there's some more stuff involving Majesty Crush I want to talk about.
That'd be
after.
cool. Well, why don't we hear? Let's hear your cover and do that, and then we can talk more about Majesty Crush.
Okay. I'm a little worried about popping something.
Oh, no worries.
Switch guitar. All right. Maybe they'll mute it out if I cause something bad to happen. They-
And I think what's cool about their music is a lot of people, when they think of shoegaze and they think of dream pop, they don't always think of Detroit, and it's kind of nice that
Right.
there's a band that really contributed to that sound. There's so many from Manchester that are great that you think about Slow Dive and so many other ones that are so well known in the UK, but to have our own version of that Detroit is what I think is huge about these guys.
Sorry about that. And we didn't sound check this, so you have a guy in the back who's monitoring right now?
We do, yes.
Okay, so hopefully...
We'll give it a shot.
Hopefully he'll run in here because it looks like you've got power. But yeah, we have a lot to talk about with what's going on with them. It has nothing to do with us for the most part, but I'm so excited.
But it's relevant because it's, you guys are from Detroit and they're Detroit, so
Yeah.
it's all relevant. It's all
We're music fans just as much as anybody's
exactly
a fan of our music.
same.
We're just normal people.
Well, this is Space Between Your Moles.
Yeah, you got the words, yeah.
Yeah, I do. You know I do.
Mediterranean Sea, higher than I want to be. Your food is splendid to eat. Who taught you that recipe? A fashion of athletes, joining everything. that's good above your knee. 15,
Oh,
All of me.
start off.
have you heard Love 15? I'll give you my copy, a letter to you from me. 15 for you, and love for the space between your moans. The space between your moans. The space between your moans and your moans. I notice in the crowd, my head's up in the clouds. When you're in the crowd, I have to let it out. I saw you in magazines, I saw you on the TV screen. I'm confessing all I need. 15 for you, and love for the space between your moans. The space between your moans. The space between your moans and your moan.
Listen to their version.
I have. Oh yeah, but still, I think that's a great rendition of their song.
My apologies to them for effing up.
Oh,
Nah.
man. You blew it.
It's all good.
Yeah, so we just happened to cover that song. And did the video. It was just for us, you know.
Right.
Sorry, let's just get past that.
Give us a little bit of extra jolt tonight. How's that?
Sorry. And then what happens later, and I don't want to get the order wrong. Why don't you go ahead?
No.
Great. Okay. So we had no idea that the following things were happening. We had no idea that Majesty Crush had lost their masters and just got them this summer. We had no idea that Third Man was going to do a Detroit space rock compilation
Yes.
featuring Majesty Crush's #1 fan. And so that, you know, and then I didn't know shirts were coming out. So I got
I
t-shirts as
see.
soon as
You got a
possible.
shirt out. I was like, where'd you get that shirt? Because that's a pretty sweet shirt.
We bought that this week.
Yeah.
Nice. It's like, so it's like new.
Brand
I
new.
need
Brand
to get
new.
one.
Yeah. Well, they're available. I should have brought an extra.
They have a Facebook page.
No, I
Go to
saw,
their
yes, I
Facebook
found them
page.
on Facebook. I have, yes.
So yeah, their likes go from like 3 to, you know, several hundred.
Yes, I
everywhere.
said.
Because they have fans everywhere, and there's an excellent interview that I listened to over the last couple of days that Hobie did, and I'm having trouble remembering the podcast.
Renaissance Soul?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's someone in Michigan.
Cool.
Interviewed him, and it was almost a 2-hour interview.
Oh wow. Okay.
So that's what we have to beat tonight. And it was so good. It gave so much information that a fan would want to hear.
Yes.
And then the compilation is called Southeast of Saturn. Comes out late November.
Nice.
That's all over the internet, and we're really promoting Majesty Crush.
They would be Hobie would be proud of you.
Yeah. So we were running early here, and so we decided to stop in Ipsy, and we stopped at
Wax Bar.
Yeah.
And we just sat down,
Just for a drink.
and a couple of beers, and a gentleman by the name of Mark, who I assume is an owner, comes up and says, "I see your Majesty Crush shirt," and he said, "I pressed 500 copies of a 7-inch from Odell's previous band,
Oh my God.
Astro Bright.
Astro Bright," and just to name a couple of the other bands on the compilation, because
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what we're here to do, right?
Of course.
Wendy and Carl.
Waiting for that third man check to come.
Yeah. So Wendy and Carl,
Yeah, Wendy and Carl.
the same people who own the record store in Dearborn.
Stormy Records.
Yep,
Stormy
yep.
Records. And then there was another
Glider.
glider.
Glider was another.
Yeah. So anyway, I got a free 7-inch of a band that Odell the drummer was in.
Nice.
I haven't verified
Like
any
minutes
of this.
before we got here.
Yeah, on the way here.
We were like,
It's your lucky T-shirt. You need to wear that more
I'm
often.
wearing it every day.
You should.
first, we
I bought 2.
Oh, you did. You're in good shape then.
Different colors at least.
just bought it. First time wearing it.
Yeah.
Just yeah, it was crazy. But this guy has more copies of this 7-inch. So
I need to get one of those.
It's on Discogs.
Yeah.
Discogs.
Yeah, just go in there and say,
I will.
I heard this is the place.
I will tell him.
So, and I'm just curious because I did. No, I might have sent it to someone in the band.
See, you do have a lot of good happy accidents, is what I'm trying
Yes.
to say.
Oh, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
A lot. We maybe next visit we'll
It's eerie.
have a few more. So, but the Majesty Crush promotional section of the interview is probably all set at this point.
Yes, and I think they'll be proud that you plugged them too.
So,
Yeah, but it's what's nice about that is that, you know, with you guys being a Michigan band, and then you talk about the legacy of another Michigan band that had a lot of impact on a lot of artists for their sound, and they're a big impact in a short amount of time, you know, and now a lot of people who may not have grown up with that get to hear that, which is cool. You know, they get a chance to experience a lot of the different bands that have come out of Michigan and Detroit in particular, and the legacy they leave, you know?
Yeah.
So, absolutely.
I'll just say one more time, they're such a good band.
Well, and one thing I wanted to say real quickly is that as we're talking about kind of Detroit area, have you guys had a chance to try the beer yet that we've got here?
He's drinking it right
Are
now.
you talking about Party in the Back?
Yes, I am. I want to say a shout out to our friends at North Center Brewing Company in Northville for providing tonight's beer, which kind of has a cool like Wayne and Garth, you
Yeah.
know, look on the front, and Party in the Back because mullets rule, and also because at Grove here we have performances in the back.
In the
So
back.
a double meeting for a cool beer. So I just want to say shout out to my friends at North Center Brewing Company for providing tonight's brew. So
It's good stuff.
yeah, absolutely. Well, and one thing I wanted to mention also is kind of talk about like what else you guys have coming up. So you mentioned you've been writing some new songs, and I know you have another new song called Ride. You know, let's kind of talk about that a little bit. The song caught my attention just because, again, another beautiful track. And what I enjoy about it is you guys actually reference like Chicago in it. And I was going to ask kind of the significance of Chicago in the track. And I've listened to it and I'm picking up kind of this anxious feeling about maybe going to see someone from a prior relationship who you're no longer with, who was involved with someone else, and you're trying to, you know, get ready to maybe see that person again after however long it's been since you last saw them. I don't know if that's kind of the feeling of the
It's
track.
very close.
Okay.
And I'll just say you got really far from interpreting those lyrics.
Okay.
And that's the thing with anything that clearly talks about love. You don't know if it's romantic love.
Right.
You don't know if it's for family.
Exactly.
Or a higher power in some instances.
Right.
So this was about Dad.
Oh, nice.
And he my last year of college, he got diagnosed with esophageal cancer.
Oh, man.
And so I would drive to visit him in Chicago, and he went through the treatment, the chemo and the radiation, and he came out of it.
Oh, wow.
He bought himself another 5 years,
Oh, wow. That.
and he was a tough guy the whole time. Like he admirable or not, you know, you didn't you didn't see him sweat, so to speak. So I remember one time showing up at the train station or the airport or whatever, and I come down the escalator, and he's there looking like Mr. Clean because everything's gone. And he's just smiling. He's just like, yeah, whatever, you know. But the funniest thing to me in that song, because not that it's a funny song, but he was, first of all, I'm just like him. He's extensively detail storytelling oriented, like way TMI. So there's a line in there that says, I still have your directions giving me every exit. Because when he told me how to find his place in Chicago, he had to tell me every frickin' exit sign. And he did that before when we were he was trying to tell me how to get to work in Ann Arbor, because I used to work for a media company in high school. Again, same thing. You're going to pass this. You're going to pass this. I'm not going to remember that shit. But with the Chicago thing, he grew up in Chicago, so
Gotcha.
he was
Okay,
kind of
yeah.
just taking pride in it.
Yes, yes.
And and I just want to stay on the phone and hear this whole thing, or in email, and it's all caps too. He was one of those guys. So that's really funny. And so what I talk about in there is, can I go to Chicago? Will you still be there showing No Fear? And so it's sentimental. If I'm in the zone, you will see me kind of lose it a little bit. It is also one of the songs that I typically sing really well, maybe not tonight, but it's been around for a bit. It's not the one that is queued for recording next. We're waiting for Aha to come out, but the next time in the studio is going to be the song Fine Days, which Julia sings.
That's another one.
And it rocks pretty hard.
I'm sure it does.
The new bass player rocks it hard.
Nice.
Dan rocks it hard. And I think it's in 3/4, which comes from my Jeremy Enoch Sunny Day Real Estate Influence Days. The Return of the Frog Queen album just totally took me over when I wrote that song. And I have that shirt too. But
What about detail?
yeah, thank you.
I appreciate the detail.
So Ride will eventually. The recording we sent you was a college radio recording.
No, yeah, I heard that, which I thought that was very cool.
Yeah, and we did have that mastered, and that was gonna go on Wishes.
Okay.
But we swapped in outro instead.
Oh yeah. Gotcha.
Because that song had two versions, and my friend from high school who lives in Chicago happened to be in that weekend,
Wow.
so he did the piano.
Nice.
Yeah, so Ride will be around, and we perform it live often, and it's definitely good for a studio. And I don't know if you wanted us to play out. If we're going to play out, then we should probably mention our show coming up if we didn't.
Yes,
already.
yeah.
Yeah.
I want, yeah. So we'll get to Ride in a second, but let's talk about your December 17th live stream at the Parliament Room at Otis Supply, which I know that's your last show. I think was in October, right? So this is kind of your next show, and coming up before the end of the year. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about how that's going to work. Is it going to be a full band set or just you guys?
It should be the full band.
Nice.
Yep. What Otis Supply is doing right now is they're doing these Thursday night live stream series.
Yes.
And it's letting the band use the stage, their professional sound, their
Perfect.
professional video. There will be a virtual tip jar.
Okay.
Which I believe will go partially to us, partially to the house.
Yes.
And we're just excited to play.
And just to be in a venue again,
To be inside, and it's a beautiful room.
Yes.
I don't know if you've ever been there.
I have not, but I want to go sometime when everything's opened back up again. Yes.
It's a beautiful room, and that's where we had our album release
Yes,
party
I remember you saying that.
last year. Which feels like 10 years ago.
It feels,
by now.
yeah, I know it does.
Yeah. So Thursday night, December 17th, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. And, it's just on Facebook. You go to the Parliament Room's Facebook page,
Yes.
and they'll have the event up. We'll be promoting it from our own Facebook page.
I have marked it. I'm excited to watch it.
Lori's coming.
And that's kind of close to Christmas time, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Do you think of anything else that makes you think of Christmas? Maybe a gift we have for Lori?
Oh, yeah.
In the bag on the
Yeah,
floor?
me too. I forgot about
I'd like
I
to
forgot
introduce
about
a
that.
new recipe. No, different skit. Okay. So if they can see this on the camera, I'm sorry. But this is for you. This is
Oh my God.
a limited edition
Family Christmas.
JCPenney ATMIG Christmas family photo.
What year was this taken? Here, I'm going to put this up so people can see it.
It's timeless, really. So.
I love this. It reminds me of like the ugly sweater type holidays theme going on.
Yes.
It's like a perfect family photo that's all
Yes.
Do you remember those awkward family photo cards you used to sell at Target?
Mm-hmm.
This would be one of them, but in a
Yeah.
cool way. Thank you very much. This is awesome.
Go ahead. Yeah,
Go ahead.
Built to Spill actually did that for one of their albums.
That's perfect. I could totally see that.
Yeah. So.
This could be the next album cover, right? A holiday themed album.
Put that in a place of honor in your house.
I sure will. Thank you very much. This is great. I love that. And it's even autographed too, which is awesome.
A friend of mine said that he kept it right on the nightstand. So he'd wake up every day to the band and their
Let me
Christmas
see if we
sweaters.
can show this a little. Hold on. Try not showing this here too well.
Is
Here,
it,
right, you
it
guys-
goes into the...
This is the camera, right?
Here you go. You guys see this? Here you go. Right, the camera.
We call that the single mom pose because it looks like I'm the
Oh
mom.
my
and those
God.
are my-
That's great. I love that. That's what I love about you guys and your humor.
we like to make music and we like to have fun. So.
Absolutely. That's why you guys are always one of my favorites to talk to and to feature, just because you guys are great.
You're our favorite to talk
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, we really appreciate you having us, and we appreciate Grove Studios seeing the value in you, because we're really excited that you're a part of this team.
Yeah.
Me too, and I'm excited to be a part of this team, but I'm excited to also get a chance to showcase a lot of the artists that, we have throughout, Metro Detroit, the whole area, just because there's so much great talent here. I have people say, there's no good music anymore, new music. And I'm like, what are you talking about? There's people in our own backyard that are spectacular, and that's what I love most about doing this, is showcasing all the great talent we have right here.
And you
So-
do such a good job at doing that.
Well, and you guys do such a great job with your music and kind of being part of a great scene that we have here, and getting a chance to, I hope we can one day when we can safely go back to in-person performances, to be able to have a show where we can get out and do that again.
Yeah.
So
That'd be awesome.
Until then, catch us online.
yes, we'll take it. We'll take it. Well, and why don't we hear "Ride"?
All right, sounds good. I'm on my way there, but so impatient for 5 long hours. My stomach sours. Will I see him there in his Mercedes Benz? Alive? No, not dead. Smoking smile on his head. I still have your directions, giving me every exit. You said your time was limited, but I didn't understand what you meant. Can I go to Chicago? Will you be there? Show Chicago.
Thank you for sharing that track and the story behind it too.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry for your loss about your dad.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
We all go through it.
Yeah, I lost my mom in June. I understand. I understand. She had
Nice.
Alzheimer's, so yeah, it was So I understand. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. That means a lot to me, and just because of my own loss I've experienced. So yeah.
We really gonna end it on that?
Not the happiest note, I know, is it? But again, I want to say thank you guys. Thank you again from Tobias and Julia from ATMIG for joining us today.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
letting us do this. We don't get out of the house much.
Neither do I. It's just nice to see faces, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll take eyes with masks anytime,
Yeah.
so yeah. And yeah, definitely check out their show December 17th from the Parliament Room at Otis Supply at 8 p.m. through Facebook. Check out their album Wishes, which I highly, highly recommend. And of course, check out their latest single, Aha, which is on YouTube. So there's a video on there for that as well. So,
Yes, there is. Yep.
so thank you both. And again, this is Lori Stratton from the Stratton Setlist, enjoying episode number 2 of the podcast here at Grow Studios. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.